Hi, my name is Aaron Gatch, and I have the honor to serve as your Scout Executive here in the President Ford Field Service Council. On behalf of our Council Key 3, our President, Dr. John Fox, and our Council Commissioner, Jen Betts, it is my privilege to invite all of our scouting volunteers, parents, district volunteers, and council level leaders to participate in a learning, listening, feedback, and visioning session to help chart the future course for the services here in the President Ford Field Service Council. I encourage you to check out the video below on this page, and after learning more about our process, our current state, and our goals, to please fill out and fully give feedback through our online survey tool. Thank you in advance for your feedback, and we look forward to partnering together to chart a bright and strong future for scouting here in the President Ford Field Service Council.
Hello, and thank you for engaging in our strong unit strategy discussion across our entire President Ford Field Service Council membership. Our goal is to build the healthiest and strongest units in the communities we serve. To start, we would like to thank each and every one of our unit, district, and council volunteers who are making the scouting program happen for thousands of scouts today and tomorrow here in the President Ford Field Service Council. Over 200 Eagle Scout and Summit Awards were granted last year in 2017 here in the President Ford Field Service Council. Thousands of scouts attended our summer camping programs. Thousands of scouts earned rank advancements. And tens of thousands of hours of service were given to our communities thanks to the daily and weekly work of our unit scout volunteers. Hundreds of volunteers work hard at the district and council level to serve, grow, and strengthen our unit leaders and their programs. 21 staff members were honored to partner with those volunteers to serve our units and grow our programming. Most importantly, millions of memories were made by our scouts and millions more will be made. Thank you for what you're doing to support the delivery of the scouting program to our scouts today. To start, we'd like to talk about our unit goals. These goals we share for every unit we serve. The first goal is strong unit program. We define this by 100% of leaders in the unit are trained. Second, all of the scouts in that unit advance at least one rank every year. Third, all of our scouts in that unit attend a summer camp program. And finally, our scouts in the unit participate in meaningful programs at their unit, district, and council levels that support their advancement trail. Next, we aim for strong unit membership. High retention and high recruiting leads to growth in the number of scouts served in each unit's program. In combination with growing the number of scouting units in each of our communities, our second goal is strong and growing unit membership. Our third goal is strong unit funding. We aim to support our units in developing and executing a budget that allows for each and every one of their scouts to participate in all programming, including activities, unit programs, summer camps, and more, regardless of their ability to pay out of pocket. Finally, we aim for strong unit administration, units that can collect membership fees and submit charter paperwork to the Council Service Center each and every year on time. Second, we define this by an annual assessment of that unit's program quality so that support items and resources can be directed to that unit to continually improve the quality of program being delivered to our scouts. The support goal we have from a council level is to continue to provide strong resources that lead to these unit goal outcomes. On the left side of your screen in blue, you will see nationally required services per our national charter as a council. On the right side of your screen in red, you will see optional services or resources that our council here in the President Ford Field Service Council chooses to invest in each and every year to help with that goal of strong unit outcomes. Next, we'd like to talk about the current state of some of these goals and statistics and resources mentioned to give all of us a shared understanding of where we currently are operating. First, we are at 42% trained leaders at our unit level, meaning 58% of our unit leaders are not trained. This includes all direct contact leaders who serve youth in the units. 52% of our scouts advance at least one rank a year, while 48% do not. 42% of our Cub Scouts participate in a summer camping program, while 58% do not. It's important to note that these three statistics are not short-term statistics. These are statistics over the long term in our council that really have not gone up or down many percentage points. When it moves to volunteer roles in our districts, 40% of our volunteer roles at the top level are not filled. 60% are filled. Remember, in each of our 5 districts, these are just measuring the top 5 volunteer leaders, which means several of these volunteer teams also suffer from a lack of full volunteer staffing. Over the past 10 years, the average number of activities our districts have provided and have been able to organize has drastically decreased. 70% of our scouting units recharter on time, while 30% of our units do not. This requires staff and volunteer intervention to help units get charters in once they've come past due. From an annual assessment perspective, 20% of our units are engaged in and have completed an annual assessment, meaning 80% do not. These assessments are important because they allow direction of resources and support items to help units become stronger in the desired program outcomes of a unit. In the past 5 years, the number of scouting units in our council has continued to decline, seeing almost a 100-unit decrease in the past 5 years alone. From a membership perspective, our membership in the past 5 years has been up and down, but has been relatively flat. In the 20-year sense, we are on a downtrend. The net proceeds the council generates from the popcorn sale to reinvest in the council services shown and mentioned earlier is on a downtrend. The net income the council receives from our Friends of Scouting campaign is also on a 5-year downtrend. Again, the downtrend in these 2 largest income categories that are fully directed towards these services provided are again on a downtrend. The structure of our district activities, camping, popcorn, Friends of Scouting, and other committees all have a very unique structure that is inherent to the Boy Scouts of America that is not recent changes, but has been put in place and has been solidified over the long term. This unique model forms district committees or subcommittees for these different functional areas. Then, these functional committees or areas go one at a time directly to the unit and ask for information or ask to provide resources or help to that unit. It's important to understand this structural limitation in how we go about recruiting and activating volunteers to meet these strong unit goal outcomes that we discussed earlier. What other causes perhaps create this inability for us to fully staff our volunteer teams to provide great and strong unit resources that lead to these program outcomes? One is time. Through our research, volunteers indicate that they are busier than ever and need an easy, simple way to engage in volunteerism at the district level to help strong units grow and become stronger. Next, we note some research on generational diversity. Today's generation and generations in the future are expected to be less likely to join a standing committee or a standing project for an indefinite amount of time. Conversely, they are more likely to join a defined project team that they can engage in and help out with as they have the time and ability. What are some solution ideas that have been discussed across our council to help move us from where we are now to where we would like to be? One idea was to reduce unit services. This would mean, in the discussion we had earlier regarding the required or optional services, through a conversation with all of our units and our district volunteers, we would identify services that were not core to growing and meeting these program outcomes, and we would reduce them. This would require less funding from our popcorn sales and Friends of Scouting campaigns, so is a legitimate option. However, on the downside, may not in some ways help some units meet all of the desired program outcomes. Second, we could maintain all the unit services listed earlier and continue with this current volunteer structure across our council, but change our funding model to meet our growth goals. It has been observed that recently and increasingly in the Boy Scouts of America across the country, districts and councils are looking to change their funding model, getting away from unit popcorn sale revenue and Friends of Scouting campaigns and moving more towards a per scout fee to cover some of these services that we would intend to maintain. This is a desirable option, only that it simplifies our need for the popcorn and Friends of Scouting campaigns, however, may not be the best choice if some families are unable to participate at a per scout funding level over and above what is currently charged. The third option is to maintain services that we currently offer, but to reorganize the volunteer and professional roles at the unit, district, and council level to help achieve these strong unit outcomes and these goals we've described and meet the funding needs required to maintain all the current services that are in place. We hope you will participate in this dialogue by filling out and completing a survey or participating in a listening session very soon so that we can join together as Scouters from across 30 counties here in the President Ford Field Service Council to better understand a direction for the future to grow healthy and strong units in all the communities we serve. Thank you for your time in learning more about the current state and the future goals of our council, and we look forward to feedback from each and every one of our volunteers, parents, and Scouters very soon.